No matter how little, every bit of injury news is greeted with concern, given that the World Cup is only a few weeks away and national teams will shortly announce their squads. Some players have been ruled out from the competition, while others are racing against time to get fit. But there are some big names who are going to miss the World Cup anyway. Want to know? Stick till the end to find out. First up, we have a very instrumental player in France's World Cup triumph in 2018, N'Golo Kante. According to numerous reports, N'Golo Kante is expected to miss the 2022 World Cup in Qatar due to the hamstring injury he first suffered in the summer. The ball-winning defensive midfielder has not appeared since then for Le Bleu or his club Chelsea of England's Premier League. 31-year-old Kante has a history of hamstring problems. He has been injured since exiting Chelsea's 2-2 draw with Tottenham on August 14 with a limp. Graham Potter, the Blues manager, acknowledged that Kante had hurt himself again while he was recovering, but refrained from providing a timeline for his comeback. However, media reports from France and England claimed he won't be available until at least January. It's safe to say that France will surely miss Kante's presence in the middle of the park. And he's not even the biggest name on the list. Let's move on to more popular footballers. Erling Haaland. It's no secret that this boy is taking the world of football by storm this season, and he is, without a doubt, the best striker in the world right now. Literally everything he touches turns into goals. So, it's a bummer that we won't see him in this year's World Cup. In their UEFA qualifying group, his Norway side could only finish third, behind Turkey and the Netherlands. Haaland alone scored 5 goals in the 10 qualifying games to make it 21 in just 23 games for his country. However, he won't add to that tally in Qatar. While teammates Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and Ederson will be daydreaming about winning the coveted trophy in Qatar, Haaland will be sitting at home contemplating what might have been if Norway had made it to the tournament. Most defenders would be happy though, because they all know how dangerous Haaland is in and around the box. Another country that shockingly failed to reach the World Cup is Italy. So that means we will not be seeing Marco Verratti. One of the standout performers of Italy's Euro 2020 triumph, adding further bewilderment to their failure to reach Qatar this time. Fans of the elegant midfielder, a crucial component of the respective Azzurri and PSG squads, will be let down because they will not be able to see him controlling play and sprinkling passes on the grandest platform. For only the second time in team history, 9 members of the current Italy squad had to deal with the disappointment of missing out on a spot in the 2018 World Cup. Manager Roberto Mancini didn't consider the likelihood of a third failed qualification. Still, he and the whole country were disappointed as they lost to North Macedonia. How do you lose to North Macedonia? They're not even known as a footballing nation, but that's football for you. Italy didn't have much cause to explain this, particularly after beating England to win the European Championships. The level of football, both before and during the competition, was outstanding, fluid and free-flowing. At Euro 2020, Italy and Spain both scored 13 goals, had the most shots, 128, and played solid defence, with the most tackles, 99, and the balls retrieved, 291. But now, we'll have to watch another World Cup without Italy and midfield maestro Marco Verratti. The world will definitely miss watching Haaland and Verratti in the World Cup, but not as much as this next player, Paul Pogba. If we're being honest, France is not having the best luck regarding injuries to its big players, who played a major role in their 2018 success. Paul Pogba, for all his inconsistency at his former club Manchester United, has always been exceptional for France, and now they won't have him. The control and creativity he brings to that France's midfield will surely be missed, and they won't be on the same side without him. Pogba underwent surgery after tearing his meniscus during Juventus' pre-season tour of the United States in July, having rejoined the Italian club 2 weeks later from Manchester United with too much fanfare. Pogba had surgery on his right knee in early September, and it wasn't until last month that he started working out again with Juventus. Since coming back to Juventus from Manchester United, he hasn't played and sustained another injury. Tests conducted in Turin and Pittsburgh revealed that the French midfielder will not be ready for the World Cup. Another crucial player that we won't be able to see at the World Cup is Reece James. This is a massive blow for England, because they've already lost Kyle Walker to injury. Also, Reece James has shown in recent times that he's one of the most balanced right backs in the world. He's excellent in attack and also very solid in defence. The same cannot be said about his compatriot Alexander-Arnold, who has been exposed as being defensively poor this season, with many errors and poor judgment. Reece James plans to resume running in a pool during the coming days to fulfil his dream of playing in the World Cup. James sustained a knee injury against AC Milan last month and is expected to miss the tournament in Qatar. The opening match between England and Iran at the Khalifa International Stadium will take place the next day, November 21st, when the World Cup officially begins. Reece James is critical to the England team, but maybe not as much as Romelu Lukaku is to the Belgium national team. This one is still in doubt, but early signs show that the big Belgian might be missing the World Cup, as he has injured his hamstring again after making a comeback after 2 months on the sidelines. According to La Gazzetta dello Sport, Inter and Lukaku don't want to take any risk ahead of Qatar 2022, so Big Rom won't play again for Inter before 2023. Another player we won't see because of Italy's failure to qualify is Gianluigi Donnarumma. The Paris Saint-Germain's goalkeeper's final touch of a ball in an international tournament saved Bukayo Saka's shootout penalty to help Italy win the European Championship. The Azzurri managed to finish second in their UEFA qualifying group behind Switzerland, pushing them into a playoff semi-final where they were shocked by North Macedonia. It's possible they were still riding high from their Wembley victory at the time. However, even though he has missed the last 2 tournaments, Donnarumma is still just 23 and has plenty of time to get his nation to the World Cup. But going by recent events, which is to say that will ever be a guarantee in the future? Still talking about big players whose team didn't make it to the World Cup, we have David Alaba. David Alaba has had an incredibly successful career at club level. He joined Real Madrid in the summer of 2021 after a glorious stint at Bayern Munich. Alaba won the La Liga title and the Champions League in his debut season with Los Blancos. Alaba, however, has not had the best of luck in international football. The versatile Austrian international will have to wait another 4 years before making another attempt at the World Cup. This time, Austria advanced to the playoff semi-finals, where they were defeated by Wales 2-1. It's terrible that Alaba, possibly the greatest Austrian footballer of all time, may leave the game without ever having participated in the World Cup. As far as big Portuguese players go, you probably won't mention many people before you mention Diogo Jota. The club's worst fears were realised after a scan on the Portugal international, who was taken off on a stretcher during the last minutes of Liverpool's victory over Manchester City at Anfield. Jota, who had just recently recovered from a hamstring injury early in the season, was taken away on a stretcher at Anfield in stoppage time. Klopp also stated that surgery will not be required, implying that Jota's injury is not a season-ending one. However, not representing his country at the World Cup will be a significant personal setback for him. It is a significant setback for Portugal too, as Jota has established himself as Cristiano Ronaldo's preferred partner over the last 2 years. With Jota and Rafa out, João Felix struggling for playing time at Atletico Madrid, Andre Silva getting limited minutes at Leipzig, and Cristiano Ronaldo out of form, Portugal's forward line options at the World Cup are becoming increasingly problematic. Talking about Liverpool stars that won't be playing in the World Cup, we have Mohamed Salah. The Liverpool star is, without a doubt, one of the best players in the game and has been making headlines regularly since he arrived at Anfield in 2017. This time of year, however, it's unusually quiet around the Egyptian king, and there's a very simple explanation. Salah will not be at the World Cup because Egypt did not qualify for the tournament. Senegal proved too strong in a dramatic qualification playoff to qualify ahead of Egypt for the World Cup 2022. Salah and his teammates were keen to prove to the world what they could perform at the greatest level following a disastrous World Cup 2018 campaign, in which they finished last in their group with 0 points from 3 games. The failure to qualify comes as a huge shock to them. So, does that mean Salah won't ever participate in a tournament again? Or could he still be around come 2026? The prolific attacker did turn 30 earlier this year, and by the time the next World Cup tournament starts, he'll be getting close to 34. That doesn't necessarily mean he will be too old though. Just look at Messi and Ronaldo. both well in their 30s and still going strong. And that's it for today. Did we miss out on any other big players? Let us know in the comment section down below.